Hello and welcome to another live stream as I grab my microphone and put it into the right place. Hello, how is everyone at home doing? I was going to build some models today. I got the totem core. There you go, totem core there. I've got a sprue of them to build. I've actually already built a couple. For anyone who saw my video on the weekend will have seen those two. Wait, no, that's Roberta Wells. Those two. There you go, those two. However, apparently, while I was at work today and thinking about building these models, coming home and building some models, that's a cool thing. Yeah, I wanted to do that. But no, because apparently, over in one of the colonies, Warlord Games have gone over there and done some little kind of a little display. And by little, I mean, look at that. Look at that. It's crazy. They've brought out the Sturmreise, got a whole bunch of other models. Some of the ones we've seen and some ones that we haven't. And so, rather than building the models that I've been wanting to build all weekend, we're not going to build those. No, we're going to talk about the new stuff. We're going to talk about the Adepticon release. Oh, the Adepticon announcement from Warlord Games. Hello to Andre van der Vlies. Hello to Oliver Masters. How are you? Andre says, bloody hell, how many pints is that? What, the Atlantic Ocean? Quite a few. More than 3. That's all I can say. Well, we've got all sorts of stuff to look through. I honestly have not seen this myself. I recognize some of this. Some of this looks familiar, and that's actually... Yeah, okay, maybe. Points. Ah, right. How many points is that? This is not a real game. This is a display table, clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 heavy tanks, I think. Can you all see my cursor on the screen? Because I think I've set it up so that you can see it, but I can't actually tell. Anyway, there's 10 heavy tanks here probably, so that's what, 400 points each. That's 4,000 points just on those, plus the Sturmreise, plus there's this model keeps on showing up. This has been around absolutely everywhere. It's 251 Flammpanzerwagen with flame effect on. We've got infantry squads all over the place. We've got infantry squads here. We've got a few spinners. We've got the new thingy hermit crab things. I can't remember what they're called. Spinner mech, more infantry. Oh, this is, yeah, that is easily 6,000, 7,000 points, depending on how many points the Sturmreise is, because that's not actually a playable entity in game yet, except it kind of is, because there is a mission in Festung Europa that I haven't managed to actually read. Oh, Andre says that you can see this cursor. Thank you. And Oliver Masters says, waiting to see your opinions on the Japanese silhouettes. I just saw one as I scrolled past. I haven't seen them all, so we'll get to that. We will get to that. Some stuff with the Japanese, please. Just so long as the points are balanced well, that would be nice, because we've been suffering ever since the game was first released. What else have we got there? Okay, if you can see my cursor, I can actually point to stuff. I'm pretty sure I can see some fireflies up here. Oh, I'm not sure if they're fireflies, but there's something up here. Those are Nachtjäger. I think there's a squad of fireflies here. I don't know what those are. That's a spinner. That's a Guardian American Walker there. So there's American models in the buildings and just in front on the road here, but all of this stuff out here is Axis. Good grief. Right. Let's do some reading. Intrepid crew heading back from Adepticon. Yeah, like I said, they went over to one of the colonies, like some little event going on over there somewhere. Yeah, so talking about Festering Europa, I'm not a proper YouTuber. I do not get stuff for free. So, and I certainly don't get anything early either. So I've bought my own copy of Festering Europa, and I only picked it up on Friday, and I haven't had much time over the weekend to actually read it. I've read a few pages, essentially. I want to read through the whole thing. I'm going to read it cover to cover, and I'll get there. It's just going to take a while. So what do we see? Naturally focus on Konflikt 7, and there's a lot of heroes, horrors, monsters, and mechs. So in terms of heroes, in Festering Europa was Wells, Bertie, and the spider mech, Dr. Octopus looking guy, Zogling, Dr. von Zogling. Lots of stuff for the Fireflies and the Totem Core as well. Who are the Raiders? Ah, right, okay. Stuff. Right, so after a recap of the progress, which it's going from strength to strength as far as I've heard. It is the release last year was way bigger than Warlord have been able to kind of keep up with, and ever since then it's just keeps going. I kind of have it in my head. I'm worried that it's just gonna be this blip and then peter out at some point, but I'm really hoping that it sticks with it. And if anyone can make it stick, if anyone can make a game like this stick, it's going to be Warlord Games. So we're in a good position for that. So Festering Europa is the book that's just been released, and Invasion America is the next one, which is 3 months away, I think, maybe. Ooh, that's good news. Right. Sorry, I should be reading this out as I'm going, shouldn't I? But I'm new to this whole news on live stream. I usually record this in advance. I'm only doing this because I was going to stream anyway, and I've been sidetracked. So what it says here is that Invasion America, which is the next kind of campaign and lore book, is going to be the United States versus Japan. So we can see that written there. I was convinced that this is going to be a third installment of Axis versus Yanks, because the original release and Festering Europa are all Axis versus Yanks. But if we can have... I was maybe hoping for the Soviets versus Japan, or Britain versus Japan in Manchuria or Burma. Kind of, those would be great places for that. But as long as we're getting someone who isn't just Axis and Yanks, we're getting Yanks and Japan, that's a good improvement. Spread things around. Get all of the nations to have some input. Everyone get some models. Everyone gets some lore, some story to play with. Yeah, liking that. I'm just gonna leave that on screen and talk about something unrelated, just to annoy you. So these are quite clearly wearing the same armor, the same uniform. It isn't, though, actually. It isn't. I was going to say it's the same uniform as the Ghost Warriors, but it's not. The helmet's different. The pack is very similar. The backpack, kind of the power plant, it has that cylinder across the top like the Ghosts do. But the battle frame, I actually have an assault frame here. I'm repairing it because I had another Sashimono break on me. That's quite clearly not the same as that. So it's not an assault frame, but it's also not a Ghost Warrior. It's not the same armor. What does everyone in chat think? Compare that armor to the Ghost Warrior. I think it's similar. I'm going to have to open up a new tab somewhere here and go and have a look at that. It helps if I get the new ones and not the old ones. How? Oh, Ghost Attack Squad, not Ghost Warrior. Okay. Yeah, it's not the same armor as it's. So the armor is much closer to the Ghost Warrior's armor than it is to the assault frame armor, but it's not quite the same. Oliver says probably something new as Japan's infantry options are pretty monotone. Yeah, there's not a lot in there. I like the options we have, but yeah, I just a little more variety, a little bit more of something silly powerful like everyone else gets would be nice, because we're missing that. But yeah, right. Forget the armor for a second. We've looked at the armor. The armor is closer to the Ghost Warriors, but it's not quite the same. But it's quite different from the assault frame. So we're looking at a different type of armor. It is still obviously Japanese themed, but let's look at the weapons, because that is what really makes these interesting. Guy at the top here. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Sorry, go away. Guy at the top here. A nice little katana. Classic. This guy's got a pair of swords. This guy's got a spear. No guns. The assault frames have a submachine gun on one hand and a little like wrist blade on the other. These guys just have big close combat weapons. Dual blades or the spear. So almost certainly this is going to be obviously a close combat unit. Are we getting any special rules here, or are we just getting more of the assault frame style? Ooh, Oliver says probably energy blades, low-hanging fruit for Japanese tech. Yeah, given that the Japanese have energy swords, kind of the katanas all over the place. Sorry, not katanas, guntos, for all of the infantry squad leaders. Having a bigger version, like an energy power swords, energy swords, laser swords for a whole squad to be with all of these different weapons with energy blades, that would be really cool. Andre says, I see mainly the 3 dark silhouettes, can't make out much detail, need new glasses. That's all there is on there. These are just silhouettes. There is some white lining on there within the silhouette that gives a bit of shape, but not a lot. I like the idea of an energy blade. Oliver says probably ghost ability that teleports into close combat like the Nat Jaeger or Falco infantry. Yeah, so the one thing I didn't like when I first got the ghosts, when I first started using the ghosts, the thing I don't like about them is that they're not like their ghost dance is not an offensive ability, it's a defensive one, in that you can't throw them, you can't use the rift ability to throw them forwards and then attack an enemy. What you do is you, at the end of a move, you can teleport them across the table. So you can teleport in one turn to set yourself up for attacking someone in the next turn, or you can attack someone and then teleport away, and that's the defensive part of it. You get out of a dangerous situation very quickly. If these guys can do something similar, but in a much more aggressive way, because a lot of other units and a lot of other factions have the ability to just show up and kill stuff, whereas the ghosts can't. They can show up and hide in cover and then next turn kill stuff. Think, like Oliver says, the Nachtjäger or Fireflies in various forms. They can just show up and gun stuff down, and then with the Fireflies they can run away as well. So they definitely have the advantage in that style of combat. So if the Japanese can get that, that would be nice. There's an arrow here. Let's click the arrow and see what happens. Yeah. Hi, Bandai. Yeah, sorry. We're going to put you onto Warlord Games lawyers team. So that's a Gundam. Some kind of big fuel tank on the back, possibly. This might be similar to the Ghosts, because they have that tank on the back. It's part of their rift ability to the Ghost Dance. That's a stretch, though. I think we've got various bits of armor. I don't see any weapons here. I don't see any weapons at all. So is this just... Oliver says, way too on the nose. Look out. It will look so out of place next to a Panzer IV Stuart or even a Hover Stuart. Perhaps. Yeah. I think if you were to paint this in a World War II Japanese camo scheme, it would fit better. But I think all of the mechs, they range from kind of 1940s tech all the way to being kind of silly in a way. This may be leaning more into that kind of future vibe. It depends, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm wondering what the weapons options are going to be for this, because it just looks like it's open-handed. Like, it looks like these are hands that can take various weapons. Maybe we'll see a great big katana. Maybe we'll see like a big Shiboru cannon of some description that it can walk around with. Maybe one in each hand. Who knows? I don't. I'm not convinced about this. I'm hopeful. I'm not going to kind of poo-poo it just yet. I've never really been a fan of Gundams. Maybe this is my entry into Gundams, though. Let's see what the next arrow has to offer. A Jin? Is this a Jin? Oliver says looks like a napalm fuel jelly tank on the back. Oh, actually, yeah. Let's pop back for a second. That might be a fuel tank for a flamethrower type weapon. That could be it. But I really want to talk about this thing, because that's... So we've got a base with some bricks on it. We've then got some kind of a shape here with what looks like smoke wisping out of it. Some kind of incoherent shape in the middle. And then what might be a sword on top. Do you think that's a Jin? A genie, basically. A kind of spirit. There's a lot of yokai in Japanese folklore, spirits. So if we were to have a rift yokai, that would be cool. And we don't have a character yet. Other than technically Gonzo, but he doesn't have rules. So if we can have Gonzo's rules, and if we could have a Jin as a special character. They could very easily tie it in with... yeah, tying in Japanese folklore, all of the yokai, they're actually rift beings in the Konflikt universe. And so when you turn up with Rift abilities, the Jinn are like, oh yeah, we know how to do this. Like, this is familiar to us. Oliver says either a Jinn or a Bakemono. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Andre says needs an Oni mask for sure. The yokai or the mech? Or both? Just everyone gets Oni masks. I like the Assault Frames Oni masks. It's good to paint those in a completely different color from the rest of the model to really emphasize it. Like, sorry to just switch back again. There you go. All my Japanese are bright blue, and then they've got red masks. And my other Assault Frame squad have red armor and then black masks. So yeah, just a separation of color is pretty fun on that one. We have another arrow. It just cycles back to the beginning. So what we have is some form of infantry, which is definitely close combat focused. Energy blades would be cool. The ghost dance, but an aggressive version of the ghost dance where you can actually rift jump and then charge would be nice. We've got a mech that has no visible weapons, no clear definition as to what it is, and looks very Gundam. And we have a spirit being of some description, possibly a Jinn, possibly a Bakemono. We shall have to see. Scrolling down, we have the next one. Is this also Japanese? So the file name for this image just says 16 scaled. Not helpful. Oliver says, still don't really know what playstyle Japan is going for. Jump around and teleport is sort of covered by the US airborne. The melee is strong but struggles to cover open ground. I think there's a lot of things that struggle to across open ground. A lot of our games have always been really heavily, like our tabletops are very heavily terrained. We're certainly on the denser side of terrain, so we can move around a bit more. But it's a case of getting units out at the same time so that the enemy can't just focus fire one at a time. I think one of our biggest problems at the moment is the Shiboru cannon is just a bit rubbish. Compare it to the Tesla cannon, compare it to the Schwer cannon. No, not the Schwer cannon, the one just below that. The Schwer projector, whichever one it is. Because the Schwer projector can just delete an infantry squad in one go and can have a fair chance at taking out a vehicle as well. Whereas the Shiboru cannon can maybe kill one fairly tough infantry model. Not one squad, just one infantry model. If you get lucky, you can take out 3. But that's luck. And when it comes to a vehicle, you just have to be lucky, because a single Pen 3 hit is not going to do much. You need to get both hits in, and it's just so unlikely. So, does anyone have any opinion about what this is? This new image we've got here. I was thinking Ursus for a moment, but they're really not. Because this one here actually has something on the back. Kind of similar to the Ursus, but also not really. And we have hands. Like, these are not bear claws, these are hands. And they've also got... Are these Japanese swords, or are these more like cutlasses? This might be an American Marine unit. Like a version of the Paragons, perhaps. Leaning into maybe a a more swashbuckling version of Marines with cutlasses. Not convinced. I've got nothing on this one. Okay, well, moving on. We also take a look at the exceedingly rare glance at John Heaney, one of the sculptors at Warlord Games. Oh, hello. Okay, we're going to have to stop and have a look at this. Hey, Oliver, stop casting spells in my chat. Right. Do I have to move this for framing? I think we can get by with that. How does that work? That's about the same. So that's a hover tank. That looks like the M5 Stuart hull. And it looks like the M5 Tesla, the Tesla Stuart turret as well. With, I'm going to guess that these are the repulsor packs similar to the one on the back of the linebacker. So the linebacker's got the circular ones all over the place, but it's got an array of them that sort of maybe looks like this on the back. I'm not sure if that is, but given that the Americans are all about the repulsor tech, it makes sense that they'd scale it up for vehicles like this. What's that going to do to a Stuart? It's going to be just faster. Well, it's going to have the hover abilities. Can this deploy onto the table from just anywhere on the table, like the Fireflies and the linebacker can? Here is a Panther. Is there anything? I don't see anything Rift Tech about this Panther. Maybe some of the scanners, like this on the top. But otherwise, that's not a Panther turret, is it? There's something like the turret that's throwing me off, and I can't remember what it is, because I've never built a Panther. I'm not familiar with it as much. So here we have what looks like an Easy 8 Sherman. So this, yeah, on the far edge we have a M4 A3? No, M4, yeah, Easy 8. M4 E8 Sherman. It looks like that later type of Sherman hull with tracks and then a Tesla turret. Is that just a variant of a Tesla Stuart? Oh, we haven't actually had a 3rd edition Stuart. Sorry, Sherman yet, have we? Because the Tesla Stuart's still the old one. So maybe this is just an updated version, an updated model for that. Although we do have the kind of infrared lamp like the Stuart has. In fact, all these turrets do. That's a double Tesla gun. Is that for the Sherman, or is that looks bigger than the? It looks very similar. It looks very similar. I'm going to guess that these three are Sherman turrets. What do you think that is? Twin autocannon, Tesla, and then twin Tesla? Weird. Oliver says looks like a Crusader turret. Yeah, it kind of does. That's very much a Panther hull. But you're right, that looks more like a British turret on it. Weird. Have some mechs at the back. That looks like the Percival, but with an array of cannons. Is that a new version of the Hornet, do we think? Is that also... there's all sorts of variants of mech back here that maybe they're different variants of the same thing. Given that this is a sculpting desk, maybe this is kind of work in progress stuff, rather than a line of models. Like maybe this is just an iterative design improvements over it. It could be a new Merlin, although I don't think so. And then at the bottom we have some there we go, some Americans. Oh, they look like American infantry? Yes, yeah, we've got the shoulder pad on some of these, the same as the Fireflies have. They don't appear to have Firefly, the repulsor packs. They also don't appear to have weapons. This guy's got Summit. No idea. That's very confusing. Do you think these might be some kind of field engineer or artillery crew? Or again, maybe they're work in progress and they just haven't added the guns yet. I don't know what to make of that. This one on the side looks like he's quite different from the others, because these are all like American uniforms with the shoulder pads and the normal American helmet, and that's it. They've got some, maybe they're airborne kind of parachutes. I don't recognize that. But this guy here looks, Oliver just pointed out, this guy here looks like he's wearing an exoskeleton. But it's not an armoured suit. It's not like the heavy infantry, right? It's nowhere near kind of armoured enough, because this is just his shirt, right? So this isn't armour. I mean, maybe there's armour on the chest, but there's a lot of gaps in this armour, and the heavy infantry don't have those gaps in the armour. So, yeah, I think combat engineers is where I'm thinking as well. Maybe artillery crew, but more likely combat engineers. But combat engineers in bolt action always have rifles with them, and in conflict I would expect the same. I'm trying to find something in there that gives it away, but it kind of isn't. Looks like this guy's wearing the similar kind of deal. And we can see there's some kind of gubbins on his back. And I can't really tell what that is. Yeah, Andrea says exosuit. Yeah, but the exosuit with armor on it that's what a power suit is. The exosuit is the powered part of powered armor. I've actually just noticed something at the bottom of the image. That there is a Chiha Shiboru. And that is the Sasori. That looks like the Panzer IV leg. What on earth is... Hold up. Let me just put it below my webcam. What is that? I'm seeing a Brody helmet at the top. That looks like a Brody helmet. So this must be a British automata of some description, right? And that looks like the ammo pack for the Tesla guns. The linebacker and the Stuart have this type of shape, these kind of shapes as the ammo as the kind of energy store for the Tesla. So is this a I can't remember what they were called, but the automata that were like a little tracked vehicle with one automata in control of it, might be one of those with a Tesla cannon. That would be cool. Given how expensive the Mark IIs are, I'm not sure about having a lot of models with is it first off the line where they get -1 hit all the time unless there's a Mark II nearby? Oliver says maybe a towed Tesla field gun but pulled by a lone automaton. Yeah, that's as believable as anything else. Andre says, mean whatever, motion lifting, not full power armor. Yeah, that's going back to the Americans. It looks like some form of exosuit, or exoskeleton, depending on how you want to call it. Commonly in Konflikt 47, exosuits have all been for powered armor because they were in, like, every nation has powered armor of some description, so that's an exosuit with armor. This is an exosuit without armor. And so what's that for? Lifting and carrying a lot of stuff. Usually you carry armor, but in this case they're carrying something else. So what is the other thing that they're now carrying instead of the armor? No idea. I guess we shall just have to wait and see. Let's go back to the page and make sure I'm lined up correctly. And scroll down and see what else there is. Treat us to a look behind the scenes at some... so yeah, Stefan Kopinski has done a lot of the artwork for Konflikt 47. I really like in this style. Kind of grim and gritty, but very colourful in it as well, and I appreciate that. And there's always a lot going on. Same kind of thing going on here with loads of characters. Yeah, got some fireflies jumping around. I'm going to guess that's a Stormtrooper with an anti-tank gun. Oh, is this actually the... No, that's a different one. This one might actually be the cover art for the release of Konflikt 47. Yeah, look at that. Bright orange, bright green, and then we have a much more dull yellow, and then we have this almost blue kind of mauve-ish going on here, and then the use of darkness to break up the space with then high spots of light in the darkness. It's just really well done. Linebacker. So when did that become a linebacker? That's a linebacker there. That does not look like a linebacker at this stage. Although it is at the beginning. So okay, so it was always going to be a linebacker. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Yeah, all the lighting effects. Painting stuff on 2D canvas. Although this looks like a digital drawing, but it's still two-dimensional drawing. There's a lot of similarities with painting on a three-dimensional miniature like we usually paint. Things like lighting effects, things like lighting up the edges of stuff and having color separation so that you define the shapes of things very well. Look at me talking like I'm a real artist. Yeah, this is the point where this green becomes the flame effect from the Firefly's flamethrower, and this is just an explosion that was what's causing the orange. It's almost like the yellow is the same. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, layering on that blue. So going from that, where you do have that blue all over the place, that extra line there really changes it more than you'd think. So here's the thing about wargaming artwork, especially science fiction stuff. is that every gun always has a muzzle flash in every picture, including when there's a dozen characters on screen. Everyone always has a muzzle flash. If you look at the 3rd edition rulebook, there is absolutely no reason why that character would be firing in that pose, and yet muzzle flash on that rifle. It looks dramatic though. I'm going to have to come back and have a look through there, because that is a really nice sequence, like these, like how this piece was put together. But that one's... Do you think that's an alternate version of it? Like this was just a sketch to lay it out, and didn't go with that design, went with this one instead? Or do you think that's another piece that we'll see at some point soon? Oh, some artwork of Von Zogling. See, this is something I've always liked, is concept art. This really sketchy, well, literally sketchy artwork where you block out the shapes, but there's none of the artistic side of artwork, but you've put in all the detail there. So you can see like his eye, his nose, all of his stuff on his belt, like the parts of his boot there, but it hasn't been shaded, it hasn't been coloured. I just love concept art. Oliver says the artwork sort of sums up the play difference between Stahltruppen and Fireflies. Stahltruppen look cool but get melted. People are still crying about how the Stahltruppen are impossible to kill, and it's like, there's nothing in the there's nothing in the Axis list that is less powerful than the Stahltruppen. They are the easiest thing to deal with. Anything with a pen value can take them out. If you don't have pen value, then you're going to suffer. Yeah, this art style. I see this a lot in character designs. I think Lakasova paints in a similar art style. Again, it's digital as well. But I've seen others as well where it kind of looks like this. It is this kind of slightly digital style. Andre says, half expects a tactical pointing character finger to have a muzzle flash. They're over there! Muzzle flash. I wouldn't put it past... Don't say it too loud or they'll do it. That's a I love this. This is cool. This is cool. I'm not going to say anything bad about this, but I love this sketchy concept art style. He doesn't have his pistol in this one. He's got his syringe gauntlet. So is that the... Yeah, so that's that image. Brightened up a lot. Brightened up on the top half. Interestingly, the background is brighter on the top half and the character is brighter on the top half, and both are darker on the bottom half. You would expect that to be reversed for contrast, but they haven't. It works really well as it is. What's the difference between these two? I can't tell any difference. Oh wait, his eye is lit up in this one. That's it. That's the difference. Each of these pictures show 3 hours of work. 3 hours from here to here, 3 hours from there to there, and then 3 hours to put in the red eye. Oh, is that the end? That's the end of the article. So that was written by Marcus Vine. There we go. So I'm loving this kind of artwork. Both of these really cool to look at. So we saw a lot of interesting stuff here. The Americans, particularly the powered suit that went, or kind of exosuit, flying Stuart, a new Sherman, and then a automata something or other over here. I don't have any idea what that is. And finally the Japanese are getting some attention with this. That is not as much stuff as I was expecting, maybe, but good stuff. Definitely good stuff. So if Invasion America is going to be Japan versus America, are we actually going to specifically get Japanese units designed to combat the American units? Not just Rift-Tech Japanese units, but specifically anti-Firefly units. Because that's the big American thing, is their Fireflies. Do you think we'll get something that can deal with a Firefly? The thing is, it's about getting an ambush. At the moment, it is just about getting an ambush early. I'm looking forward to this. I have to say, reading the Festering Europa book, as I said, I'm only a few pages in. It's very much the first half of a bolt action rulebook that nobody reads. But that's all about real history, and we have a better grasp of real history. Whereas this is obviously a fictional setting, so no one's seen this before. This is their own creation. I just think there's a better format for it than this type of book. Well, given that we are only halfway through my usual time for streaming, I don't feel like ending it now, so why not go back to my totem call? Given that I have them. I'm going to make some totem call. You can't stop me. I was going to spend the whole stream doing these, but we had that announcement instead. And what I actually have got over here is a bunch of my American and German sprues from Bolt Action with spare arms and weapons and stuff, because I want to see just how kit bashable these are. Pretty much pretty kit bashable is the answer. Should we give a Totem Core a Panzerfaust? We could totally give a Totem Core a Panzerfaust. I think not. I think not. The Kentor. Welcome in. Yes, I am also excited for the new lore. Trying to actually get some proper news or some proper kind of discussion about the story, not just kind of the games directly. Wargaming has always been 3 hobbies combined, in that you have the stories, the models, and the gameplay. And even if it's fictional or if it's real world history, it is obviously important to have the stories behind it. How much you want to go into any of those 3 elements is entirely up to you. There are, of course, people who paint models and that's it. They're kind of display painters and they don't care about the story, they don't care about the games. Similarly, there are people who just want to play the games and they don't want to get involved in the story and they don't want to get involved in building and painting, they just want to play. And that is valid, as much as people are snobbish against that kind of thing. And similarly, the stories. I like reading books. If I can just read a book about something, that would be pretty cool. So this particular one is the armored guy from the Totem Core. We suspect, although there's no evidence one way or the other for this, that this might be the new armor for the Schwertruppen. Because at the moment we've just got the old Schwer models. Schwertruppen is heavy trooper. So as opposed to the Stahltruppen, which are the super heavy infantry. So I think this particular guy has a left arm, and then the right arm is a stub. So what I might try and do is find... Oh dear. Oh dear. My polystyrene cement is not happy. Let's check the manual. Yeah, that guy. Actually doesn't have a right arm at all. It's just been ripped away. Can we make a right arm for him from the bolt action sprue? Not really, because he really does need to have that armor. Yeah, this is the other one that's in the armor. Yeah, I think we'll skip it on this one. But we'll come back to this idea and we'll give someone else a nice bolt action arm. It's going to be stubborn now, isn't it? Trying to get him to stand up. There we go. Propping models against other models while the poly cement sets. Should we do an American? I want to see if I can get this guy to be suitably armed. This one is just gnarly. Just whole rib cage ripped open. What's the intended build for this one? Yeah, it's just a head hanging off of the side. I think we can use a normal head for him, because that gives me then an extra zombie head. Mold lines on these kits have been absolutely lovely to deal with. Really, really shallow. Right, so let's grab one of my American bag of American bits in here. And I just want a normal head. Ah. So on the cover, it's about there. There's kind of an indent for a head. I'm going to use it, even if it's maybe not quite right. I want to get some of my old poly cement back. Much thicker than this, than the Hornby stuff. Right, so arms then. What arms have I got in here? Not really convinced by any of this, to be fair. So this is a holding a rifle arm, and it would go on. Yeah, that doesn't fit. I think I need to tip some of this out and actually dig through it properly. So that's a Thompson arm. Oh yeah, that looks awful. that doesn't fit in the slightest. It almost needs to be more of an arm out rather than an arm up doing something. It needs to be an arm all the way out. Although not quite like that. That's shooting a 1911. Kind of. I think that. Oh, sorry, it's out of frame. I think that kind of works. Andre says, weird idea, but you can whittle a bone stump from a bit of sprue. Yeah. Warlord is ahead of you on that idea. I absolutely could. I can put like a lump of a shoulder in place and just tear up the end and have it as a horrible injury. But this guy's already horribly injured. I think I'm going to go with this 1911 hand because it is. Yeah, I think it works. I think I'm just going to throw it on as is and then gap fill. Whoa. Kind of works. Kind of works. Let's see about a left arm for this guy. So I'm only really seeing like left arms that are supporting a rifle. I have a pointing hand. We can have that muzzle flash going on that we were talking about earlier. That definitely doesn't work. If I move that to there, then you might be able to see a bit better. I think I may have to go for one of the intended arms here. The shape of the shoulder here is just too much off on kind of on that angle. Some of these others might be a bit easier, but I have kind of gone in at the deep end, I think. Although, Andre, you'll be happy about this, because that one I pointed out is the intended arm for this particular model. With all that arguing, with all that, we end up back where we started. Typical. Come here. There we go. This guy did not have a good day. Clearly. I'm probably going to have to rip everyone off their bases to do the basing later. But that's a later job. Oh yeah, we didn't get a head for this guy. So this is going back to the German one. Do I have... Yeah, I've got some Stahltrooper, Stahlhelm. Just regular soldiers with Stahlhelm. Bag here of some other bits. Yeah, same kind of deal, basically. I'm going to have fun if I end up mixing the German and American bits. Trying to separate them is going to be a pain. I can probably remember most of it. Maybe I can't. It's been a while since I built either of these kits. It's weird how, because this tube is running out, keeps doing that, keeps getting clogged. Annoying. I have a replacement tube of polycement. I didn't get the one I really like, the Revell metal tube. What did I get? It's the armor painter, isn't it? Yeah, I've not used this before, so I'll see about that. There we go. That guy's finally done, giving him a head. So that's the one I did before. Where's the other one? There you go. Andre says, like the Russian prisoners I did. Yes? I'm not sure where the connection is there. Sorry. I did some Strafbat a while back, if that's what you mean. For those, I think they were all, or mostly they were 3D printed bodies. Some of them had my own sculpted torso. But they were all made out of spare parts. Yeah, yeah. Right, who's next? Let's do... Let's do a German, like, low-ranking officer, because I've got some of these officers' heads here. This one in the cap. This one here has got a pretty gormless expression, so let's use that head. That did not come off the sprue easily. The connection was the question you asked before the one you read. Could you whittle a bone stump from the sprue? I can't remember the beginning of a sentence when I'm halfway through that same sentence, let alone a previous sentence. Sorry. There's also a bit of a delay in the chat, so I don't see your comment immediately after you've kind of responded to the thing that I was saying previously. It's fine. It's fine. So there's, on this particular one, there's a hole in his stomach. And then this leg has had its uniform ripped off. So I'm imagining some kind of explosive was the end of this guy's career. I'm wondering, are the heads... So the heads have the same kind of bulge. So that's the Totenkopf sprue. And that here is German infantry sprue. That is the same kind of... The same kind of neck. The same rounded bulge. But it's just a little bit smaller. I think maybe it's just the size difference that is causing this. Yeah, if I just glue it. If I can get some polystyrene out, polystyrene cement out without it being horribly clogged again. Hello, Paul. I'm late. Has he done Pillow Man? I have not done Stumpy yet, no. See, that looks absolutely fine. But what I've done is I've glued the neck to the back of the shirt, which raises it up slightly. So if I have it slumped over, that looks totally reasonable. Yeah. So you can use bolt action heads with these. It just has to be, you just have to be a little bit deliberate about where you place them. So I'm liking giving someone that Sturmgewehr arm. So I've got it's this is why I like not having the arms molded onto the guns, or the fingers molded onto the guns all the time. Because this is only the right arm and not the left arm, I can use this on the zombie and have a broken left arm, but use that as the right arm. I think I want to use that on this. Is there another option? I mean, there are several other options, but I think I do want to go with that. So let's grab that. There are 2 sprues in the box. I will only be making 1 sprue, as Ratman is getting the 2nd sprue. I'm going to have to see if I can do the same kind of thing with someone for the automaton. Because 37 quid for 10 of them is a bit much. And so if I can split and just buy 1 sprue. News to me. What? We agreed this, Paul. Having trouble with this. The absolute dregs of this particular tube of polycement. I will use all the way till the end. I will absolutely use every last bit. There you go. Shall I use one of the Totem Core arms for the left arm? There's not a great deal of options in terms of the left arms. I mean, there's the other arm that goes with the Sturmgewehr, but that's literally what I'm trying to avoid doing. We could have a stump arm. By the time I get to Stumpy, I'm not going to have any stump arms left, and I'm going to have to give him proper arms. Yeah. I think this might actually be a right arm. Whoops. Or right shoulder? All the parts are hero scale compared to true scale on the bolt action bits. The bolt action bits are very much also hero scale, but they're slightly differently hero scaled. Konflikt is a bit more hero scale. Although saying that, bolt action's actually toned back the hero scale recently. In the last few years, a lot of the bolt action stuff has been a little more true scale than it used to be, although still not that true scale. Yeah, that's definitely a right shoulder. If I turn it a bit more. That works. Totem Core have guns now. Got to be careful. Ah. The new Japanese are more chunky than the old ones. That is true. But bear in mind that there have only been 2 Japanese sprues, whereas if you compare like Americans and Germans, you go through the history of Warlord Games and how their scale has changed up and down, whereas Japanese you just get 2 points along that journey. Right, who's next? That was a German, so let's do an American. I think all of the Americans are on this side of the sprue, but I'm actually not 100% convinced, mainly because I don't necessarily know the uniforms that well, and they're all different uniforms. They're not it's not like they're all the same American uniform, because like that's a Firefly and that looks like a summer battle dress and that looks like a winter battle dress, kind of winter greatcoats, probably both of them. These 2 look like the same uniform, and they do look like the Americans I built previously, so I'm pretty sure that it is the case that all the Americans are on one side of the sprue. Oh, actually, speaking of Japanese, Paul, have you had a look at the, because we looked at that at the beginning of the stream, the Adepticon announcement? There are some silhouettes of upcoming Japanese models. We didn't really come up with a good answer for any of them. We think that one of them is going to be like a close combat, possibly a close combat ghost variant, and one of them's going to be, well, one of them's obviously a big mech. It's a very Gundam looking thing. Right, back to the American arms. I actually have these really, really old American arms. So this is back in the day when the Warlord would send you the arms on a sprue and then send you a separate sprue with all the weapons on, and I really love that, because that gives you so many options for kit bashing. But I think in this case, just showing the hero scale, the change in hero scale, these old Warlord models are much thinner than the Konflikt ones, so I think I will have to avoid using those, unfortunately, even though I really, really would like to. Yeah, put those aside. That limits me to what's on the Totem Core sprue and then what's in this bag, which is the more recent American bits that I have. Should we give a Totem Core Azuka? He plays Japanese. Of course he hasn't won any games. No Japanese player has won any games. Unless they're playing against other Japanese players, which is akin to cheating. What do we think? bazooka totem core? Should I do a bazooka totem core? I think the answer is yes. The question is, can I have him holding it in an awkward zombie type way rather than just a normal way? I really want to have him just holding onto the front of the tube and trying to hit someone with it. Like, I have this one with no hands on. Again, this is why I like having weapons without hands attached. Do I have enough arms to actually do that, though? Because I don't think I do. And I'm not good enough at sculpting to really go out of my way with that. Yeah, it's not going to happen, I think. I could put a model aside, because I've got this guy. This is an American uniform. If I hold up on this guy, I can give him a bazooka. Or like just a bent bazooka tube. Andre says, in case of bazooka, the answer is always yes. I don't think the answer is always yes, but in this case, the answer is definitely yes. Ratman said the silhouette ghosts look like ghosts with knives. Yeah. If you actually look closely at that one, the armor is slightly different from the ghost warriors that we've had in the starter set. So I'm not sure if they are. They might be just a new version of Ghost, or they might be something else. That's what I'm getting at, is that they're not so much like Ghosts that they can't be something else. Zombie has a question. Actually, the fist works relatively well. Probably just because it's generic. And then I drop it and lose it. Ratman says the mech has a big old fuel tank on the back, hopefully a flamethrower. Yeah, we weren't sure what that was. It might be a flamethrower, it might be... because the ghosts have a tank similar to that on the back. Hey! Says it Rider, how you doing? No one's mentioned the music volume, so either it's fine or it's so quiet you can't hear it. Any details for the MK format for April, or is it top secret? As far as I'm aware, we're not getting a Konflikt game until the very end of April, which is a shame. Can't remember why. I think Nick wasn't around to run one, and so we had to skip it. Even does the zombie get the muzzle flash? Andre says, does the zombie get a muzzle flash? And the answer is yes. Everybody gets the muzzle flash, even if it's just from a finger. That works. What's our next? Our next game is Bolt Action, 750 points with limited vehicles as well, but not just seeing if I can fit this grenade throwing arm, but it doesn't really fit. Doesn't really work. Shame. Yeah, it's not a Rattenkrieg game. It's a regular game. It's just limited points and limited vehicles. Do we have a suitable... See, that one might be the right way to go. That's like a very kind of shambling zombie pose. Andre says the music volume is fine. Thank you. Just testing out all the arms to see if I can work out which one I want, and that one might be it. That one's really gnarly. Blown the uniform off, absolutely ripped up. Not quite that one. Yeah, I think we go with that one. Ryder says, sad can't make the April bot action, hoping that the Konflikt 47 one was. Just hoping for a straightforward 1500 point-ish, still need to learn the game. Yeah. We are aiming to get to 1500 points of Konflikt. The original plan was to run a couple of games of 1000, a couple of games of 1250, and then get to 1500. But we've actually missed out on a lot. With certain venue messing us around before we moved to Tabletop MK, who have looked after us quite well. But even at Tabletop MK, we've missed out on a few. I would like to run one bolt action and one Konflikt every single month, and we just haven't been able to do that. And it's usually Konflikt that we miss out on, unfortunately. That is suitably gnarly. So let's pick a head for this guy. And he's an American, so American. So I'm using another just bolt action head, and I can put these at some really weird angles. Especially as it's a zombie. Maybe he got his neck broken and he's just crunch all the way around now. There we go. That works. Ryder, I will happily play against you. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the group who I wouldn't play against. I am genuinely very appreciative of our group, that we are just all a bunch of nice guys. There's no one in the group who's really been that much of a problem. Like, everyone's different. Everyone's like raising the hair on someone's head at some point here or there, but it's never been unreasonable. It's never been to the point where like we have to kick someone out of the group or take them out back and shoot them in the kneecaps kind of thing. There is an arm somewhere on this, and there it is. That one. Where the arm is holding on to a bit of intestine. And I think it's meant to go with that one, with all the intestines hanging out. Was that the one I was saving? No, I was saving an American one. Right. Let's do that. Andre, who lives on the moon, says a bit too far away to play with. Well, I do hope that you also have a group near you who plays ideally Konflikt 47, but you know, bolt action. It's a good game. I tricked a 40k player into playing. Make the intestine lead to a dog, and have a dog eating it. There is a dog on the Soviet sprue. The new Soviet sprue now has a just a dog that you can put on a base separately. It's not a like an anti-tank dog, which is a shame. There's also a chicken, like someone's hand holding a chicken upside down. Someone's got themselves lunch. Yuck. Just absolutely yuck. Right. Let's see if we can use a bolt action arm. We can have him reading a book. That doesn't make any sense. That's a right arm. I'm very familiar with doing this type of thing, where you just hold up the piece of model to the sprue and work out like which piece you want to use. I'm thinking I can fairly easily make another bit of intestine. It's just a rolled up line of milliput. I'm not convinced. What I can do is swap a wrist over as well. Paul says that's nasty. Japanese sword arm. One of the new ones. I do have the new sprue now. Where is it? I have no idea. I have the old Japanese here. Is it the right size? Probably not. It's not far off. So what left arms are there in the Japanese sprue? There's the one holding the scabbard. Not really. So the actual waving a katana about, gunto, that's a right arm, not a left arm. The left arms are always problematic. Like, I always save up all of the arms, and you always end up with, like, you always want for more left arms. So I've got the light mortar arm here, and that's pretty close. But what do I have him? What do I would have to replace that hand, right? Because that hand makes less sense for a German zombie to be carrying a Japanese light mortar. So what do I replace that hand with? I've got various hand options. Hands are generic enough. I do have this one that I've been looking at. This is one of the American arms. And while the arm itself... Oh, actually, hold up. Hold up. I think we just go with that. That works just by itself. That really does. Yeah. I'm going to keep hold of that, of these Japanese arms, because they're actually close enough that they might be usable. Have to be careful of the uniform of the sleeve. There we go. That works really nicely. So, head. Let me just pop the Japanese stuff here. I need to put the American stuff away as well. Although I'm going to take the American stuff back out in a moment because I will be doing another American. And I've just sprayed bits of plastic all over everywhere. Well, it's a good job I sweep the floor regularly because I will find all these bits. Go away. Right. German heads. Thinking he had committed ritual unaliving with the sword. We could do a Japanese model, a Japanese officer's model doing that. I guarantee you there's some very kind of insensitive model or as an STL somewhere online, because of course there will be. I actually think I probably want to use one of the totem core heads for this one. Yeah, so this one at the end has a bandage around his eye, and I just think he's grabbing at his intestines thinking, although what I could do is take one of the swords and have it embedded in someone's chest. As in, not seppuku, but someone stabbed him. It is a war after all. There's a war on. Yeah. So who do I go with? Who gets stabbed? Who gets stabbed? So we've got German in winter coat here that's not got a lot of damage to it. That might be a good option. Oh wait, no, that's an American. Yeah. We shall stab this guy, I think. What do we think? A sword, or do we want to go with a full-on rifle with bayonet just hanging out of him? One of the models that I really want to make in this at some point is the... Is it Day of the Dead? Where one of the zombies pulls the rifle out of the survivor's hand early on in the film. And throughout the whole film, this zombie's just holding the rifle by the barrel. Like, by the front of the rifle. And just waving it around. I've run out of bases at the moment. Well, I've got plenty of bases, I just don't have any prepared. Oh, that's absolutely lovely. Alright, who's next? Can we actually do the sword? Can we do the sword? Do I know where my Japanese sprue is? Because I think this is the Russian sprue. Nope, this is it. This is the Japanese sprue. I thought this was the Russian sprue. Because I've got the new Russian sprue as well. So we've got sword in the scabbard, which is not much use to us at the moment. Although we might need it for the handle. And then we've got these two being held. So we've got an exposed blade. We might actually have to cut that handle off and attach it to that blade. Ryder said, where's the dog? The Soviet sprue has the dog. This is the Japanese sprue. There's also that one. Similarly, we could grab the... Do I have... Ooh, hold on a second. The Ashigaru that I did a while back had... They had spears, but I don't want the spears. I want the swords. Where did I put the Ashigaru bits? Found them. Alright, let's focus on this. Because this I actually do like the idea of. There's loads of swords in scabbards here. I can hear an actual dog next to me. Oh yeah. My neighbour has has dogs in the back garden, so they make a lot of noise. So that's arrows. I mean, the next time I do an archer, I'm going to have these really cool arrow, whatever arrow things are called, arrow containers. That's a spear. I don't know what the backpack is for. There's one guy who's just holding a stick, and I never understood that either. Bow, arrow, bow. Don't need any of that. Don't need heads. I believe this is what I was looking for. So now we have a katana. And now we need to find a zombie to hold the katana for us. And by hold, I mean be stabbed by. Alright. Sprue. So we're saving that one. Saving that one. So this is an American winter one with relatively little going on. We could do that. Or these are all the German ones are all winter as well. I think we go American. I think we go for that American winter one and have him just impaled. Right in the chest. It's a shame I don't have any of the US Marines left, because that would be spot on for this. Which one had a hole in its belly? Oh, I think I already made that one. Did I? Nope, not that one. Yeah, it was this one. Yeah, I've kind of covered up the hole a little bit because it's like there. That doesn't really work, does it? Actually, if anything, this guy with the part of his brain missing, if I just wedge the katana in there. That's really tempting. I might be sidetracked and do that instead. Because the other option is here and just have it like impaled into his chest, like probably around like that deep. Maybe even sticking out the back. Not convinced. I'm not convinced actually. I almost think giving this guy the katana in that head wound, I think that might be the play. But I'm not convinced about that either. In the head looks cool if you put a little putty over it so it doesn't look like it's balancing. Yeah, what I do, I'm just holding it like this so that I can kind of try and visualize it. What I would do is cut away a little bit of the blade so that it would sit further in, and I might actually cut a line in here so that it would really be like all the way in there, like as if it had been hacked in and had been penetrated through what's actually there. I think that is what I want to do. I think just the spine of the blade visible would still be cool. So it's not like fully embedded. It's just wedged in there. What about... No. No, that's a bit... The myths of how powerful katanas are. No, we can avoid that. This guy is fully missing an arm. So, as if he's had his arm cut off, and then another strike has gone in and stabbed him in the leg. Or in there. Nah, that's not as good. So, the Firefly doesn't actually have much in the way of damage. Nor does the repulsor pack. You could just make a firefly out of this model and just have a firefly leaning over. If I use this model with this arm holding his own head, put a bit of spine in here, and then maybe that, or maybe some other right arm, sorry, and then have the katana on the base, like stabbed into the ground, so it's like sliced off his head and then ended up with the blade stabbed in the ground. I really want to use the katana for something. It's just hard. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Right. I'm going to put the katana aside for the moment. I'm going to make something else. And then when I come back, I will work out how to do the katana. What time are we? Oh, we're actually at 9 o'clock already. Okay, so I lied. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make one more model and then end the stream. And when I will probably... I'm not sure if I'm going to do a specific video on painting the totem core, so I might actually just paint them on stream. I do still have all of my stream painting models that I have not finished yet. They are right here and have always been here. So there you go. There's the ghosts, the Shredtroopen, and the Naktalban as well. Hey, and Gunso. I literally haven't touched that box since I last streamed. Oh, speaking of things I haven't touched since I last streamed, here's my Soviet Walker, which I keep. I show this off every stream, and I never actually paint it on stream, but I show it off at least. So I've done a lot of the kind of color separation now. So I've got a black hip armor pad, and I've done a lot of the work around the windows as well, prep them for the wash. I think I'm just doing a minimum amount of metal work, so gun barrels and just some of the pipes and pistons rather than a lot of it. So I think this is actually ready for the wash now, and after that it's not a terrible amount of work to paint that. And for the base, the dead Ashigaru is pretty much done. Might want to paint the skin a little bit, but in terms of highlighting, it's already finished. And then once I put it on the snow, I'll put the blood effect over there. Right, where was my... There you go. German head. And then... Oh, absolutely unpleasant arm there. Actually, I've got this one as well that I brought up by accident a while back. Whoop. So that's a right arm, I think. Nope, it is a left arm. Just dropping absolutely everything. Just casually as you do. So as I will be ending the stream in a few moments, or a few minutes, if anyone has any more questions, suggestions for more zombies, or anything else to mention, do that now and I'll try and answer it before the end of the stream. If not, you'll have to wait until next week. Yeah, so I just need a German right arm. That one? Probably. Yeah, that'll be it. Ryder says, love painting the metal ones, but these are cool. Yeah. I have to resist the temptation to buy the metal, the resin, and the plastic automata just so that I can do a video comparing them. Because I really don't need to do a video comparing them, but I want to. Because that's the type of thing that I'm interested in, is comparing stuff. Right. Last arm going on. There we go. Right, so if I tidy away a little bit at least. Where's the katana? Right, don't lose the katana. It's there. I've got it. That polystyrene cement is nearly empty, but not quite. Go. All the zombies we made today, or well, 2 of them I made before, but there we go. Alright then. I shall end the stream in just a moment, as soon as I work out how. Where's my... Here it is. So, thank you very much to everyone for popping past. I do have an idea for my video coming up next week. It is a little bit different. It's more of a retrospective of my own painting. And I think I've noticed something rather interesting about what I consider to be important in painting. And I will fully acknowledge in the video that it is kind of what I consider important, not what is actually important. It's different for everyone when it comes to mini painting and things. But that is kind of going to be kind of a more different to my usual content kind of video. But I also have some other painting videos coming. I've got various models, mostly Konflikt 47 on the way, but some other stuff as well. Especially, I will be painting up Totem Core at some point. I've got Roberta Wells here, and I've got all of my fireflies. I have to decide, completely separate topic here, I have to decide whether I want to do my American fireflies on video or on stream, because there are so many of them. I don't think it would work on a stream. And I don't really have anything interesting to say about them for a video, so I might just paint them and not record it, which I do every now and again. But the totem core, I need to build the rest of them. I've got half a sprue left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty much half the sprue left. And yeah, so yeah, stream next week on Monday, video on Saturday, which will be that kind of look at my own painting style. But for now, I'm ED-SKaR, always will be, and thanks to everyone who came past to join in with the stream.